Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to, really pull out the key insights from the sources you've given us. Today, we're digging into a name everyone knows, Rosa Parks. December 1st, 1955, Montgomery, Alabama. That moment on the bus. Her refusal to give up her seat. It wasn't just a moment, was it? It really ignited something, a revolution almost, with ripples we still feel generations later.
That's absolutely right. And for this deep dive, we want to go beyond just that iconic image on the bus. Our mission really is to explore the enduring legacy, how it keeps evolving, how her actions, her whole philosophy still inspire us, still impact us today. We'll connect her story to movements happening right now, to education around the world, and maybe most powerfully to her own words. There's such timeless wisdom there.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that. It is fascinating how universal her image is. You can walk into an elementary school pretty much anywhere, right? And you'll likely see her photo. It feels like more than just history class. It's almost like a master class in moral courage for kids.
Exactly. And what's really remarkable is how accessible her story is. I mean, even very young children, maybe 5 years old, they can grasp the basic unfairness of it, the segregation, the injustice, and they get the power of standing up for what's right. So her story gets woven into school lessons all over the globe. You see it in Finland, for example, in their education system. They look at the ripple effects of just one person's actions. Japanese schools use her story in moral education. And South African educators, they often draw parallels between American segregation and apartheid. It helps students see these aren't just isolated incidents. And it's not just confined to textbooks, right? Yeah. What about other ways her story gets told, like museums? Oh, absolutely. Her influence goes way beyond the classroom walls. Take the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis. Thousands of school groups go there every year. They have interactive exhibits, even VR experiences now, where students can almost, step into her shoes, that kind of thing. It fosters real empathy. It's powerful stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine. It makes sense her story connects so deeply. What is it about her example specifically, do you think, that hits home for students?
Well, teachers often say her example really speaks to students who might feel powerless themselves or marginalized. Her quiet courage, it sort of encourages them to be upstanders, to speak out against bullying or discrimination or just unfairness they see in their own lives. We actually see it used directly in anti-bullying programs right here in the U.S.
Okay, so her story is being taught like this everywhere. What are the bigger ripple effects of that education? Does it move beyond the kids?
Oh, for sure. These lessons don't just stop at the school door. They spark conversations. Kids go home, talk about it at the dinner table. Maybe parents start re-examining their own values because of it. And on a broader scale, international exchange programs often use her story as a kind of bridge. It gives people from different backgrounds a common point to discuss really complex histories, different views on courage across cultures.
Right. And beyond education. It really feels like her way of resisting, that peaceful but firm stance, it's sort of laid the groundwork for so many movements today. It's almost like the gold standard for activism now.
It really is. Yeah, a blueprint. You see her influence clearly in so many modern movements. Think about Black Lives Matter, founded back in 2013, right? By Alicia Garza, Patrisse Cullors, Opal Tometi. They directly draw inspiration from Parks's dignified, nonviolent approach. That idea of staying peaceful, even when you're facing huge opposition, even chants like, hands up, don't shoot, or I can't breathe, they carry that same kind of spirit, that quiet, powerful defiance.
And it's not only movements focused on racial justice, is it? It feels like her influence casts a wider net.
That's right. Much wider. Tarana Burke, who founded the Me Too movement, she cited Parks as major inspiration. Burke actually described the viral spread of #MeToo stories on social media as a kind of digital version of the Montgomery bus boycott. Ordinary people just refusing to accept things as they are, demanding change. We see echoes in youth climate activism too. Greta Thunberg's solitary school strike. It has that same feeling of Parks' one person, one principled stand. And think about the Parkland students, March for Our Lives. Emma Gonzalez, David Hogg. They explicitly studied civil rights history. They looked at the tactics of the Montgomery bus boycott, things like voter registration, political engagement to keep their movement going for systemic change. They learned directly from that history.
Wow. And it stretches internationally, too. I remember reading that protesters in the Arab Spring and Tahrir Square and the Umbrella Movement in Hong Kong, they studied American civil rights tactics, and even locally, right? Community organizers working on affordable housing or environmental justice, they seem guided by her example, too.
Absolutely. And what's really interesting now is how the digital age has, amplified her influence. Yeah. Social media campaigns, hashtag activism, like hashtag Black Lives Matter or hashtag climate strike. It's like a democratization of the kind of symbolic action Parks took. But it's also crucial to remember Parks' refusal wasn't just spontaneous. It was thought out. She was a trained activist. It was a calculated act. And you see that today, too. Modern movement leaders, they combine that moral clarity with strategic planning. Her example is still a guide for, effective planned activism.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's not just her actions, right? It's her philosophy, her own words that still resonate so much. I'm thinking of that quote from a 95 interview. I would like to be remembered as a person who wanted to be free, so other people would also be free. That hits hard.
Oh, absolutely. Her quotes carry so much weight because they came directly from her life, from that deep understanding of what it felt like to be denied basic human dignity. And that other famous one, the only tired I was tired of giving in. So many groups have adopted that. Labor organizers use it, women's rights activists, LGBTQ plus advocates facing what seemed like, impossible odds. It gives people strength.
That vision of freedom she had, not just for herself, but for all people, that's what lets her words cross borders, isn't it? Racial, national, cultural boundaries. I wonder, did that broad vision resonate internationally? Like maybe in South Africa during the Truth and Reconciliation Commission hearings after apartheid.
It absolutely did. That specific phrase, so other people would also be free, it's so revealing. It shows her incredibly expansive vision of collective freedom. She understood, I think, that nobody's truly free until everybody is. And that idea, it really influences how modern movements think about solidarity, about intersectionality. You hear climate activists, immigration rights advocates, they often invoke her wisdom to show how different struggles are actually connected.
And just the reach of her words globally, translated into dozens of languages, offering hope in refugee camps, inspiring dissidents in places fighting for freedom. It's incredible.
Yeah, and the digital age, again, has given her words a whole new life. You see them in memes and artwork, introducing her philosophy to totally new generations. And educational institutions, not just K-12, but business schools, law schools, they use her quotes as teaching tools for ethics, leadership, social responsibility. Her words even offer comfort, guidance for individuals facing their own personal struggles, illness, discrimination, finding strength in her quiet resolve. So ultimately, her legacy isn't some dusty historical fact. It's alive. It's a living legacy. It keeps getting reinterpreted, repurposed as new generations find her story and apply its lessons to today's challenges. Challenges that go way beyond just racial segregation. It just keeps proving how adaptable it is.
Yeah, you really do see traces everywhere once you look. Corporate boardrooms, right? DEI officers using her example. The entertainment industry keeps telling her story. That 2022 film, The Rosa Parks Story, Broadway shows. It reaches new audiences. And obviously, the Rosa Parks Library and Museum, it's like a pilgrimage site, isn't it, for people seeking that kind of inspiration?
Definitely. And her role is a symbol for political leaders globally. That's huge, too. Her story gets brought up in UN debates on discrimination, in national parliaments when they're discussing equality laws. Her example offers both, inspiration, but also practical guidance for navigating the big challenges we face now. Climate change, tech disruption, rising inequality. Her principles still apply.
It really drives home that freedom isn't something you achieve once and you're done. It's a continuous journey. It takes that constant vigilance, that commitment from every single generation. So maybe the thought to leave everyone with, drawing on her message, is this. When you're faced with injustice, will you have the courage to stand up for what's right? Will you make that choice to be free so that others might be free too?